A Midnight Murmurs original story. Some doors don't need keys, just a memory, or the wrong whisper at 2:17 a.m. Some memories aren't buried. They wait curled up like spiders in the corner of a dark attic, motionless, until you step in. This story isn't about a haunting, not exactly. It's about photographs, about what they remember long after we forget. I wasn't looking to find her again. I had accepted the loss, or at least I told myself I had. But the dead have a way of lingering, especially when you never found the body. It had been 6 months since Elena's disappearance. 6 months of hollow mornings, of pouring coffee for two, but drinking alone, of waiting for a knock that never came. I returned to her apartment to pack up the last of her things, not because I was ready, but because the landlord had started calling. That's when I found it. A small brass key on a ring, not for a door, too small. There was a faded tag on it. Locker 32 South Bus Terminal. I didn't remember her mentioning any locker. But that's the thing about the ones we lose, they start having lives we never knew. It took me an hour to find the terminal. Another 30 minutes for the clerk to admit the locker existed. When he finally gave me the code, he said, "It's been untouched for months." Almost forgot it was still there. I wished I had. The locker creaked open heavy with rust. Inside a large manila folder. No name, no label, just a feeling, like something watching from the shadows behind the vents. I opened it, and the air around me dropped 5 degrees. Inside were photographs. All of Elena. But not the Elena I knew. In these she looked worn thin. Her eyes were hollow, her skin too pale, like someone drained her color through a straw. In one picture she sat on a bare mattress, arms wrapped protectively around 2 small children. Their faces were streaked with dirt, their clothes didn't fit, and their eyes... God, their eyes were wide open, too wide, as if they'd seen things they couldn't forget. There was no location tag, no timestamp, but each photo felt like it knew more than I did. One stood out. A blurry image taken through a window, Elena, standing staring directly into the camera. Or rather, as if she was looking through it, at me. I brought the photos home. I told myself it was for evidence for the police if they ever reopened the case. But that night, the house changed. The lights flickered despite no wind outside. My bathroom mirror fogged up without steam, and in the reflection just for a second I saw someone behind me. Not a shadow, not Elena. Me. But I wasn't moving. The reflection stared. I blinked. He didn't. It wasn't fear I felt. It was familiarity, as if the reflection had seen things I hadn't. That night I dreamed of Elena whispering from behind a closed door, "Don't open the middle drawer, please, Daddy. Don't." I woke up with the sheets tangled like vines, and the manila folder was on the floor, open. I did what anyone would do. I opened the drawer, the middle one beneath Elena's childhood desk, inside an old cassette tape, unlabeled. I hadn't seen a cassette player in years, but thankfully the garage had one buried in a box of old tools and tangled wires. I played it. Silence. For nearly a minute. Then thump, thump, giggle, whisper. Then Elena's voice barely above breath. "If you find this..." I couldn't protect them. A pause. Then they weren't mine. But they knew my name. "Don't trust the man in the blue jacket." The rest was static until the final sentence. He said I could leave, but only if I forgot, so I did. I couldn't sleep after that. I drove aimlessly for hours trying to chase some thread of meaning, and somehow I ended up at an old motel on the outskirts of the next town. I don't remember deciding to stop. I just did. The clerk didn't ask questions, just handed me a key. Room 9. At 2:17 a.m., I heard the knock. 3 gentle taps, like a child's. I opened the door without thinking. No one. But there was something on the ground, another photo. This time a wall, brick, faded blue paint. And behind it, half visible in shadow, Elena, or someone who wore her face. I recognized the wall, an old lot behind the bus station. It had been abandoned for years. I drove there at dawn. There were no children, no people. But on the wall, just as the photo had shown, was something new, scrawled in chalk or bone I couldn't tell were the words she remembers. Do you? And below it, the same brass key. I shouldn't have picked it up, I knew that. But I did. The moment I touched the key, the wind picked up no breeze, just a howl, like something circling. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. The static was thick, like voices swimming through a broken signal. Then a whisper. You opened it, didn't you? Now they know where you are. And a giggle. Too high-pitched. Too wet. Like a child. Drowning. I hung up, threw the key away. But that night the attic door creaked open on its own. There's one last photo. I don't remember taking it. But it appeared on my phone last week. It's my bedroom, nighttime. I'm asleep in the frame. But the photo was taken from inside the room, from the corner near the dresser, and in the edge of the frame, a small girl looking at me, smiling, and behind her a woman in the shadows. Her hand on the child's shoulder. Her eyes are wide, and her skin is pale. If you ever find a key that doesn't belong to any door, don't keep it, don't take it home, because the place it unlocks may not exist anymore, but the thing inside might still be waiting to come out. Some nights I still hear the camera click when no one's holding it. And sometimes there's a photo on my nightstand, still warm,